Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker, and this is WPblab. Today, we're going to be talking about something pretty cool. We're going to be talking something that's kind of near and dear to our hearts, and that is WordCamp. So, we do a lot of WordCampy type stuff. We do a lot of website type stuff. We do all sorts of things regarding WordPress and the community and all that fun stuff. So we're going to be discussing that tonight. So if you have any questions, if you are going to be going to your first WordCamp, if you have never been to a WordCamp, you have no idea what we're talking about. If you don't even know what WordPress is because you're some 16-year-old that showed up in here and just wanted to jump in real quick and say hi, let us know. We'd be more than happy to kind of tell you a little bit about WordCamps and how they work and what's involved and all that fun stuff. So please make sure to ask us some questions. We'd be more than happy to answer them. Bridget, tell folks about you. Who is Bridget Willard? What does she do? How does she do it? What's involved?
That's an evolving bio. My name is Bridget Willard, and I blog at bridgetwillard.com. Nice. I'm also the marketing manager for WordPress that makes Give the most robust online donation form. It's really a form. Yeah.
Sweet. So, yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about WordCamps and kind of giving you some ideas as to what a WordCamp is, where you can get more information about a WordCamp. Because, last night I spoke at the Women Who WP group. Me not being a woman, I was actually the first man to ever speak at this group.
The inaugural male speaker.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're going to pick a good one, then, no, just kidding. So over at Women Who WP, WP.com, if you can go, or .org rather, it redirects, check that out. So if you go over to that site, you can go take a look at that. But last night we were discussing a whole bunch of stuff about WordPress and about how did people get involved in it. How did you find out about this particular meetup? All that stuff. Well, it kind of led down to the fact that there's a few folks there that have never been to a WordCamp. And there's actually one person who really wanted to go to a WordCamp and can't because she can't get a ticket for it.
No ticket.
And so it's like, okay, well, we need to discuss this a little bit and kind of explain what a WordCamp is, how to get involved in WordCamps if you've never been to one before. Maybe you're too scared to get involved into a WordCamp, so you actually attend it. So maybe you just want to help out. Maybe you're broke and you're between jobs or whatever, and you're trying to figure out, how do I go to a WordCamp? Well, WordCamps are cool because you could totally go and say, hey, I want to volunteer. I'll give up my time to come and help out, and I'll go to the WordCamp and do whatever it is you want me to do.
Right.
So volunteering at a WordCamp is awesome. So let's define WordCamp real quick. So a WordCamp for me is a place. Okay. A WordCamp for me is it's these regional events that occur. So it's like a mini conference. I wouldn't say it's a huge conference. I mean, there are really, really big ones. But it's a mini conference for people that like using WordPress, both developers, designers, users, documenters, content curators, all of that stuff. If you use WordPress in some capacity, this is the type of event that you should go to. So local WordCamps allow you to not have to fly all across the world to get to some place that is going to sit there and explain to you what what WordPress is, or how to use it, or how they're using it, or any of that stuff. So in California, we're kind of blessed to have a few of them. We have one in San Diego. We have one in Orange County. We have one in LA. Those are the main ones in Southern California.
Las Vegas is 4-hour drive.
Las Vegas, they're not California or nothing, but
no, but that's the next closest.
Right.
Closer than Sacramento.
Closer than Sacramento.
Which is another WordCamp.
Right. So what's neat about these WordCamps is that if you want to, you can go, like I used to go and drive up or fly up to San Francisco to go to like the main WordCamp that used to go every year. Now, they've kind of changed the way that WordCamps work, and now there's like a 2-year kind of rotation of where the thing is going to be hosted. So they find a place, they put a lot of effort into it, they learn about the place, learn about the culture, whatever, and then do a WordCamp there. And then they'll do it for 2 years, and then they'll move it to another place. And, you know, just kind of all over the place. This is where these bigger WordCamps happen.
That's
so
the name, WordCamp US.
Yeah. And if you don't live in the United States, which I could totally understand, because it very well could be 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the morning, UTC. You're staying up late and you're watching us for whatever reason. There is one in Europe. There's WordCamp Europe itself, and there's also other WordCamps that are in Europe as well. So there's bunches of them.
Yep, go to WordCamp Central. The link is in the chat. I know there's one in Australia. There's one in Sunshine Coast a few weeks ago, maybe almost 6 weeks ago. But there's a WordCamp, at least one WordCamp almost every single weekend.
And so you're probably thinking, like, WordCamp, man, this thing has to be expensive. And that's what I love about WordCamps, is like WordCamps are cheap. There could be anywhere from like, I think it's like $40 to $60, somewhere in there. And it's just solid that you pay such a cheap amount, yet you get fed. You get fed, both mentally as well as physically.
Right.
You get to meet a whole bunch of people. You can go to a WordCamp and not even see it in any sessions, yet still get a bunch of information out of it.
Right.
As Russ says, it's actually they are no they can't be any more expensive than $40. Yeah, $20 a day. So that's awesome for it to be that cheap. You know, why not? So definitely, if you're looking at going to one, go over to central.wordcamp.org and go take a look at that and kind of see what's going on there in your area, because there's definitely one, you know, somewhere around you. You know, there's plenty of them. So which ones have you attended, Bridget?
San Diego, Orange County, my home one, and Los Angeles.
Awesome.
So I'm 65 miles in between LA and San Diego. So within a 65-mile radius, I have 3 WordCamps that spans about 6 months.
Wow.
March,
yeah.
June. It used to be June, but March, June, and September. So it's pretty lucky for me.
Yeah.
But now it's July, March, July, and September. And
well,
I'm pretty sure, fingers crossed with my dog situation, I'll have a babysitter for WordCamp Vegas.
Nice. Depending on my situation, we'll see if I can attend that one, because that'd be pretty fun. I've been to that one once. I've been to San Diego, LA, Orange County, and Miami.
Oh, you've been in Miami?
Mm-hmm.
That one's supposed to be a really big one.
It was huge. It was huge. It was so much fun. We actually did WPwatercooler from Miami.
Oh, how fun.
Mm-hmm. They had like the world's craziest internet. It was super duper fast, ridiculously fast, even on Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And they're like, have at it. You have an entire pipe to yourself. Do whatever you want on there. I was like, that's sweet. Cool. So we got all the people on there, and we all got on there and talked and did fun stuff. I've also been to Phoenix, WordCamp Phoenix. I've been to that one. And it's kind of multiple iterations in the way that they've moved it around a little bit and have done different things and had an entire city involved in WordCamp, the mayor and all this stuff. And
wow,
cool stuff. So let's talk a little bit about kind of like what to expect, what to expect when you're going to go to a WordCamp. Yeah. Well, what I will tell you is a lot of the larger WordCamps typically sell out pretty fast. So when you hear somebody talking about, hey, WordCamp Orange County is about ready to sell their tickets, they're going to start doing it on Monday, and it's going to be at this particular day and this particular time. Like, you need to literally camp out on their website waiting for it to change
No
and buy the
joke.
ticket as fast as possible.
Especially
You should be,
Southern California ones, especially
the Southern California ones, exactly. So that's kind of one tip there, is just make sure that if it's a big WordCamp and it's in a small place, to jump on it as fast as possible.
Yes.
There's a bunch of ways to kind of go about tracking the WordCamps. So if you go over to central.wordcamp.org/schedule, and if you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, they actually provide you with 3 different ways of tracking. So one of them is an RSS feed. So if you're like me and you still read all the websites via RSS because you don't want to go look at their crappy designs, but you really like their content, take this, throw it into Feedly or one of your favorite RSS feeds.
Still exists.
The whole internet runs off RSS. Sorry. The other way you could go about it. Hey, FeedBurner still exists too. Oh. So the other way you can go about it is to go to set up the ICS calendar. So if you're using like an iPhone or an Android or on your computer or whatever, you can subscribe to that particular URL, and then as new new WordCamps are announced, those will show up on your calendar.
Also, can I add something?
Of course.
Okay, so if there's a WordCamp you want to go to, like maybe you're in Northeast Ohio and that's the only one that's going to be near you. So it's not like us where we have a bunch of choices. So if there's one that's coming up but they haven't announced their ticket sales, go and sign up for their website, okay?
Yeah.
To get the updates. But then, and this is the part that people I've heard doing the social media for San Diego and LA, and then I'm going to be doing LA again. I've heard the people complaining that they signed up for updates and they never got them. So I just want to say, check your spam folder, check your promotions tab, and your updates tabs in Gmail.
Yep.
If you know that this camp is coming up, you need to start stalking their website like it's somebody you want to date, because they go fast and then you have no ticket. And the second thing that you should do is find out what their hashtag is.
Right.
And their Twitter account. And if you're really worried you're not going to get the email, then sign up for getting notifications for that person's tweets, for that WordCamp Twitter account's tweets. Just allow that notification to happen, because they don't tell you, but it's usually 6 to 4 weeks ahead.
Okay.
Right? That's the pattern that seems to be emerging.
Makes sense.
And then, like for Orange County, it's going to be 100 less than last year. So that's why it sold out in an hour and 45 minutes. Like it was the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, but the Rolling Stones were in a room that only held, 300 people?
I'm just saying, like...
Oh, man.
It does. But then other camps don't. So
right.
I would rather err on the side of... And also, this is another thing that I would recommend as far as the tickets go. If you think you can go, buy the tickets. It's better for you to be one of those people selling it to the sad people who didn't get one than thinking, oh, well, I don't know if I can go, whatever. And then all of a sudden you want to go and it's too late, too bad, too sad.
Yep.
Because it's fun and your friends are going. You're going to see them all on Facebook tagging each other and selfies.
Exactly. Let's see here. So if you've never been to a WordCamp, but you want to experience one without actually going to one, if you go over to WordPress TV, they actually have almost all of the sessions that have ever been recorded. They actually record all of these things and make it so that you can watch those later. So yeah, if you go to wordpress.tv/event/whatever it is, like for instance, ours, let's say it's 2014 of, OC's 2014 or 2015 or whatever, you can go and check those out. Like with anything in WordPress, all of those have RSS feeds as well. So what I end up doing for
I'm surprised there isn't an API.
There is. There's a JSON. There's a JSON feed from it. Of course there is. Come on, are you kidding me?
Throw it out.
These developers have APIs for their
happening.
restrooms. They have APIs for everything.
Oh my gosh.
So what I do, and this is a little kind of inside baseball a little bit, but whenever like the local WordCamp is doing anything, I will I'll go and set up an RSS feed. So as that uses like if this and that. So every time a new thing from the WordCamp that I just went to gets announced, or they start adding videos to the site, I'll actually start posting them onto Twitter, just telling everybody, hey, you should go check this out. It's awesome. So I use my own, which is jasontucker/feed. And so as I start speaking, it automatically posts them onto the site, onto Twitter and Facebook, letting people know, hey, I did a cool thing.
I think Adam Silver has adamislive.com or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But also on that same vein, if you're interested in advanced custom fields, you can also just search advanced custom fields and see all the people that talked about that subject.
Oh.
On WordPress.tv?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, you can do that.
Something that's wrong?
No. I was thinking about it. I was like, how's the...
It has a search bar.
Yeah. So you could just search if you're looking for, SEO or whatever. Yeah. And then, it'll just go and do a quick search for it.
Yep, it works. And there's a crap ton of people that talked about it. Advanced custom fields. So it doesn't matter. Like, even if it's not a camp that... Even if you don't want to get the flavor of your one camp.
Right.
You want the answer.
I'm trying to think of what else we should talk about regarding this, because there's a bunch of things, but I want to make sure we're I don't want to go crazy into one direction. I want to make sure we're kind of covering all of the stuff.
Oh, I have so much to say about WordCamp. Just give me a section and I will fill in the time.
So, finding your local WordCamp is easy.
You can come in.
Huh?
Russ wants to talk. He can talk.
I guess so.
I guess. Just because he's an organizer.
Whatever all that means.
As long as he's not grilling.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hi, Robert.
Hey.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. So, let me just fix my hair here.
Okay.
Hey, not only am I an organizer, I have a give shirt on. I think that gives me a pass.
You do.
I think you put that on just now.
No, he's been wearing it all day. I've been seeing the tweets.
I'm chimping out. Chimping out.
I'm just wearing a shirt I got from Kohl's. I'm like the non-swag person.
So Russ, can I go first, Russ?
I mean, I guess we
gotta flip.
I really can't stop you.
I'm just trying to be nice.
We gotta flip for it. Pull out one of those weird coins that you guys have up there in Canada, and let's flip it.
Go for it, Robert.
Okay, so
technically, it's a toonie, not a coin. You need to learn the language, right?
Yeah,
learn the
we got
language.
loonies and toonies, and we're not talking about the politicians.
That was pretty good.
My first WordCamp was, oh my God, like 6 or 7 years ago. And I just kind of went in, sat at the back, really did nothing. Just kind of like tried to take it all in. There was I didn't really know of an after party. I didn't really know any of the people there, but I met some really good people there, people that I still connect with today.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
I need to give you props for that.
There's time.
And
can you guys hear me?
What I say is, what do you? There's always an unofficial track in WordCamps as well, which is kind of like the hallway track.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that can actually work really well, but the hallway track really only works if you know people already.
Right. Okay. But can I interject?
Yes.
Robert? Okay, so here's the thing. So first of all, I went to WordCamp with a friend, which I recommend highly. Find a buddy, partner up. But the hallway track didn't work for me because I'm too shy. I would never walk up to somebody and say hello to them ever in a million years. I'd rather go to the dentist and get a root canal. And I'm not exaggerating. I wish I was. It's like I have a lot of social anxiety. But here's the thing, Robert. Can I call you Robert?
Yes.
So I was tweeting.
I guess.
I would tweet, and people would come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for tweeting my presentation." Blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden I'm part of the hallway track. That was my little trick for the shy people.
Now, one of the other awesome things that we started doing in Vancouver was, instead of just having our Twitter feed or our Twitter handle on one side of our name tag, which always gets flipped around, we would actually have it on both sides. So you could actually, because a lot of people don't have their Twitter handle as their actual name. So,
Makes sense.
It made it so much easier to kind of like figure out who the person was, and then they could actually say, "Oh, you've been tweeting that all day."
Yeah.
And kind of like a couple other things for getting out of WordCamp. So if you tend to have a few libations at the after party,
That's when you stop tweeting.
Have you met Russ?
I would suggest that if you want to, if there's a contributor day the next day, and you want to actively be part of that, even if you are somewhat an introvert, sometimes the contributor days have helped me out with my learning of WordPress, because I'm helping to contribute. And if I went and partied all night, then I would be just not
contributing.
Not doing well. So
I think what Robert's trying to say, though, is that you actually get to like start learning from other people.
Yeah.
And it kind of opens you up. Like the first WordCamp I ever went to had a developer day, and I was really shy about sharing my code. And it turns out that the kid next to me was like, "Oh, I do this for a living here," and he wrote this thing like within a day, and my plugin became that much better.
Nice.
It's one of those things where now I'm at that point where I am that kid who helped me, but it's a chance. I don't know if there's a lot of developer days left, but it's one of those things where you just, Saturday is what you learn, Sunday is you apply what you learn.
That's a really, really good point, Russ. And I would say if you are, I also wanted to say, if you've gone to a WordCamp a number of times and now you're like, I'm going to pitch a talk. You're like, you really kind of want something unique, something different. When I was a photographer, one of the speakers that came to school, he was always like, you want to do something that's like first, best, or different. It's like, if you can't be the best at something, then
I don't wholeheartedly agree.
Then just be different.
I think you should be passionate.
Yeah.
So Chris Lemma always says that. But Chris Lemma always says that no matter where you are in WordPress, you're 5 minutes ahead and 5 minutes behind somebody else.
Yeah.
So as long as you tell your story and how it affected you, you could give the same talk that somebody else has given, but you make it personal to yourself.
Well, I would argue it's not the same. It might be the same subject.
But to Robert's point is, I'm always trying to up my own game. Like, I took one talk across the country and I spoke at several WordCamps, and I realized I should have did something different at every WordCamp.
Right. Don't recycle your talks.
Yeah, because WordPress TV will have all those recorded, and then they look at it and they're like, geez, which one do I want to have on here? Because they're all the exact same talk with various ums and ahs throughout in different spots. and somebody coughing and which one's my best one, and you know what? Forget all that. Like
it almost looks like you're at a WordCamp but behind a green screen because like just you're in the same clothes, you're in the same whatever. It's just a different background.
Exactly.
So part of so I organize WordCamp Las Vegas. This is my second year, and part of what we do here in Vegas is my idea is that I want to see new talks. Don't get me wrong, I love inviting my friends and I love having a core group to hang out with. But Cemal, I forget how you say his last name.
Cemal.
I've never seen him talk before, and he submitted a talk about designing the web for senior citizens,
Right.
and it was phenomenal. And seeing him do that talk kind of gave me the idea, like, let's do fresh,
Right.
let's do something that it puts us on the map almost,
Yeah.
And
But I can also say, like, practice your talk. Like, I have, like, my laptop actually died 5 minutes before my first talk ever.
Oh wow.
No way.
And I had everything backed up on the internet, but it was, let's just say that talk did not go according to plan. Like, I got really nervous, everything, because I was wondering, I tried to joke about it, but it was 9 a.m. and people are still drinking coffees, and no one was like, I'm just sitting here waiting for you to speak. And so it, but like the other two talks I've done have been really well received, and because one, I practiced them, and two, I knew the subject matter really well.
Robert, I haven't spoken at WordCamp yet, but I've done some social media presentations to a group of engineers. And one was at 2:30, and I swear I should have brought candy like when I was a teacher. Should have been throwing that out to the audience because they were like, "Okay, people, wake up!"
Well, so the trick with that though is what Robert's talking about is you go and speak at your local meetup, and like I just gave my WordCamp Orange County presentation coming up in a few weeks. I gave that last night at our WordCamp our WordPress meetup here in Vegas as a dry run to practice. And I record everything. That way I can see, I forgot this, or I could have did this better.
Right.
I'm always practicing, but I'm at the same time, the people who can't go to Orange County WordCamp from Vegas got to at least see one WordCamp Orange County talk, because that's me.
Yeah.
And I would say that these talks have legs. Like the talk I gave on how I connected Asana with GitHub I gave that 2 years ago, and it is still the #1 post on my blog, on my personal blog.
That's interesting.
So it's almost been a year since we did WordCamp Vegas last year, and I wanted to offer something new to WordCamp, something I've never seen before. So we started. I got everybody together, all the speakers and sponsors and contributors, and we had a open discussion. And I got 2 people in a room who loved and hated Jetpack, and I let them talk, and everybody got in, and it was like bringing Facebook live, but having an open forum. And I'm still getting tweets from people saying that is one of the best ways they've ever seen to implement a talk into a WordCamp.
Wow.
I didn't know this, but Shada Toriabi from WP Engine, after WordCamp Vegas, was on a talk with the guy who runs WordCamp Milwaukee, herself, she said that's one of her favorite things she's ever seen, and she's been to a million WordCamps.
Yeah.
It was just it's one of those things where I'm always trying to push the envelope, and sometimes it doesn't work. Most of the times it doesn't work, but that one stuck, and I got to do it in San Diego. I'm going to get to do it at another one in Ann Arbor coming soon. I mean, I'm really excited about it, and it just gives people a chance to jump into the conversation. Because don't get me wrong, I know Jason and Robert know their stuff, but there's other people sitting in that room who know their stuff, who are maybe too afraid to speak in a public forum, but they're not afraid to speak in an open group.
Right.
Yep.
But you brought up something really interesting, Russ, beyond the open discussion, is that every WordCamp has its own flavor. So Orange County has Plugin Palooza.
Right.
Which I'm a part of.
Yep. And WordPress is the reigning champions with
Me too.
rollback. And
that's why I've been wearing my Give and my WordPress shirts lately. I'm sucking up.
we didn't enter this year. So
I know. Matt told me when we were at WordCamp San Diego a couple months ago, he was like, we've just been so busy. I don't even know what we would do. And I'm like, you're going to come up with something. I know.
Yeah. A couple of my girlfriends are involved in that competition. So it's fun because it kind of motivates some people to try, who may not have otherwise wanted to try. And as Jonathan's bringing up in the chat, Montreal has kittycount.com. So there's a competition for how many cats appear in your presentation slides. Not sure what the prize is, but I saw Roy Savon posted today.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, everybody has a different flavor, whether it's that or they start at noon on Sunday, or Sunday has an amazing business track, or they have food trucks, or it's more intimate, or it's bigger. I mean, everybody likes them for different reasons, and everybody's coming for a different purpose. And
I really love San Diego just because that WordCamp is, first of all, ran by amazing people, number one. Number two, I mean, can you pick a better location than San Diego in March? I don't think you can. That's and then numbers. No, it's Vegas in October. But regardless, the third thing about San Diego is that they have 4 completely different rooms. It's not just like 4 rooms of talk. It's one room is speakers, another one is like a beginner dev kind of thing. Another one was our open discussion, and then the other one was like, hey, go mingle, go work. And I mean, it was they come up with some creative ideas every year.
I virtually have attended WordCamps. It used to be called WP Armchair.
Oh yeah.
And David Bassett is the one that made this.
I see those tweets.
And so what he's done now, he's kind of legitimized it a little bit. It used to be where I was like, oh, this is going to be my fun thing. It's going to be an interesting thing to play around with. I'll build this thing. We'll get some people to show up and they'll be able to look at it and stuff. So he's now kind of rebranded it and has built it into its own thing of being able to have a really cool, you can log in. I think he's using BuddyPress if I remember correctly, but you can log in and kind of check it out and see what's on there and stuff. And once you log in, you can go into the dashboard and just look at all the different conferences that are going on and which ones are happening. It kind of stalks all the hashtags and figures out what things are going on where.
Yep.
And then you can just like click on it and go, oh, are the tickets sold out? Oh, the tickets are sold out. What events are happening here? Who's talking about what? And so you can kind of look through there and see all the things that are happening there. So pretty nifty.
What I really love about the WordPress.org profiles is when you actually buy a ticket, it will say he subscribed to this thing, or so you can go to my WordPress.org profile and see when I update my plugins. You can see when I've spoken at WordCamps. You can see when I've been an attendee. It's really cool to track people through that way too.
You fill out your profile. Since you're bringing this up,
my profile is
Gravatar people who haven't filled out a picture on your Gravatar. People who, one of the other tips I always say is go look at the attendee page and follow those people on Twitter and start a list and follow the hashtag and start entering into conversations before the WordCamp. This is one of my number one tips. Yeah. But if you don't have a picture, Because your gravatar doesn't have a picture, then nobody's going to, or if your picture is you when you were 7 or me like a cartoon, that's why I changed it to a real
Are you
photo.
calling out Roy right now? Because Roy's picture was like when he was from 5.
I'm not naming anybody specific, but I'm just saying.
But his hair color,
don't recognize you because you haven't made your profile recognizable.
Yeah.
Don't be upset that nobody comes up to you and says hi.
Yep.
Me and my monogram are not going anywhere.
I mean, I'm just saying that's something to think about. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
FYI.
Me and my monogram are not going anywhere. But that's also the great thing about a double-sided name tag.
Or you could take a selfie when you arrive. That's what I do.
Yeah, that way it's the shirt that you're wearing, it's the hairstyle, it's everything, and people just go, "Oh, that's you." Okay.
Yeah, and there's no hiding that I'm 230, so like there's no angle that's going to change that. So
Ben Fox from Sidekick.pro has one of the most recognizable photos I've seen because he's holding a blow up unicorn, and every time I see him tweet, I imagine that it's the unicorn tweeting and not him. And so it's one of those things where when I point that out to people, now they see that too. You know. But the other thing to Bridget's credit is that I didn't know Shada Torabi before she came to WordCamp Vegas, and now we email once a week with, "Hey, I had this idea," or "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I mean,
I get credit for that.
Well, so last year we challenged people. We challenged people at WordCamp Vegas last year to make one new friendship and to keep it running for the course of a year. There's no time limit, but there's lots of people that said, "Hey, I partnered up with this guy who I met at WordCamp Vegas, and we have a plugin business now."
That's awesome.
I would also suggest that if you're not, interested in either speaking or volunteering, but even if you need help with your WordPress site and you go to the Happiness Bar, people will actually tell you about other awesome people in the community, and then you will say, "Oh, look there is someone." So you could talk to one person at your entire WordCamp, but if that one person connected you with 3 other people, then it would just spread your knowledge would totally.
Can I tell you about my favorite WordCamp story ever?
Sure. Was that the time Aaron Jordan gave me $10 to tweet his blog? No? Okay.
No. So I spoke at WordCamp Minneapolis last year in 2015, and Lisa Sabin Wilson from Web Dev Studios was giving a talk. And 3 of the people who work at Web Dev Studios, Brad Parbs specifically, her phone was sitting on top of the speaker podium like this, and it was on vibrate. And so they were tweeting her nonstop, and her phone was vibrating, and it got very close to falling off the speaker podium while she was speaking. And that number one has always stayed in my mind. But number 2 is you get to see how companies work. And I didn't know Web Dev Studios was so free and open, and they joke around a lot. I didn't really have a mentality of them to begin with. But now working there, I see that it's open to let's laugh, let's work, and let's make sure we get our stuff done. And seeing that kind of inspired me to apply to work there. Oh, that's one of my favorite WordCamp stories.
That's a good WordCamp story.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, WordCamp changed my life, so I'm kind of passionate about it. I'm just trying to dial it down because I could talk for 2 hours.
And that's why we invited you to speak at WordCamp Vegas. If you want Sunday, Sunday's yours.
I had to pick Sunday? Yeah,
you can have the entire day, or I'll give you a quarter day of Saturday. How does that work?
Won't take that long. But no, seriously though, ever since you asked me that, I've been dreaming about my talk. Because I dream I dream.
Have you come up with an idea? Have you come up with what you think you might want to talk about?
Yeah, the WordPress community. So
Well, I will
my
tell
story
you.
is that I met the community before I met the software. And literally I was rescued from a toxic environment because of the community. So I feel like it's very important that you're part of the community and not self-isolating. So like I had this idea that maybe at the end, so everybody had to get up and touch somebody that they knew on their shoulder, and that you would see this network unfold right in front of your eyes, just visually. You can't just be part of it. You can't just use WordPress and say you're part of the community. You have to be part of the community. It has to do with your behavior. And because if you're open to the people, then the people can change your life. That was kind of my idea.
Well,
but every time I start thinking about it, I start crying.
So we do this thing at WebDev where it's called 5 for the Future, where we take 5% of our week and we give back. Whether that's jumping in the support forums, or it's, like releasing a free plugin, or it's just writing a blog post about how you could be doing WordPress better. And I think that's what really kind of establishes you in the community, is that you're actively learning, you're participating, but you're giving back and you're helping people who are, that 5 minutes behind you.
Yeah. Well, there's more to the community than code.
And I would also, I've always been kind of like, oh, you should really come to Vancouver. But, I hear so many people are like, oh, I don't have a passport. Oh, I don't want to cross the border, or, and
I love how you're telling my story, but all right.
And so, but I would really encourage you to, I went down to Seattle WordCamp, and I met Ben Lowenbaugh, who works at WebDev, and we became actually really good friends. And we met at WordCamp through WordPress, but now I go down and sail with him all the time. But if it wasn't for meeting him through WordCamps, I would no idea who this guy is. I mean, for better or for worse, but I wouldn't have no idea who this guy is.
Well, we all know him, so it's probably for worse.
I don't know. I don't agree or disagree with that statement.
So here's the thing that you should know about WordCamps when it comes to Jason Tucker.
Oh crap!
You will see Jason Tucker talking to someone, and so if you're like me, I go up after that person leaves, and I'm like, dude, who are you talking to? And he's like, oh, that's the guy who does Yoast. And it's like, really? Like, there isn't anybody that Jason Tucker doesn't know, number one. And number two is that Jason Tucker is kind of that guy that if he's there, you can just say, hey, is this so-and-so here? And he's going to know. And here's their RSS feed, here's their Twitter handle, and they speak at 10:30.
Oh my God.
No. It's because I have a show that we've had over 160 unique people on the show talking about WordPress stuff.
And now we know you're an extrovert, so there you go.
Exactly.
Find an extrovert, and that's how you know who the people are.
But if it wasn't for Jason Tucker, I would have never met, like Steve Zangit. I would have never met Dave Margowski and Brandon and Jeff from Pixel Jar. I never would have met them. Niall Flores, I never would have met her. I mean, you can meet one person like a Jason Tucker and meet the rest of the community within, a couple months.
So I do that on Twitter, and I call it being a people broker. So I met
people broker.
Right?
Hashtag people broker.
Yep. So I met Pam Unks.
Oh crap! Is that the cops at the door? I just tweeted that.
Oops.
that could go another way for you.
Talking about going across the border in Canada.
So for me, I
all the Russian mail order brides just adopted that.
All right, we'll let Bridget talk. Jeez.
So, anyway, so I met some people on Twitter when I was doing tweeting for Contractor, and that was a very, you want to talk about a small community. tweeting for construction was a small community. So I met a bunch of people, and one of them was Pam, who's now Pam and Marketing. So she does SEO. She has her own business. But when I met her, she was working for ET Plastics. And so anyway, she's the one that told me to go to WordCamp. So I had already known these people, and so then you go to a WordCamp, then you know somebody else, and you know somebody else. You start collecting these people. But it was when I went to my third WordCamp, which was San Diego in 2015, and I accidentally landed in a class. You can't discount the classes. You don't know what you're going to learn. If you just already say, well, I don't know who this Steve guy is and what installing WordPress locally means. I mean, you don't know. Like, you can't go by the titles always. So I would say just don't.
So can I burst your bubble? We're doing that. Instead of doing a keynote this year in Vegas, we're actually going to give everybody who's speaking like 3 to 4 minutes to kind of pitch their talk. Because like you said, Bridget, I recognize this too. I have no idea that I would have loved Cemal's talk.
Right.
And then, that was one of the best ones I've attended in a long time. And I think it does suck whenever you go up against, like, let's say Jennifer Bourne, right, or you go up against a Chris Lemma or, a Jason Tucker. But there's other people that it's like, this person works in this industry and that's what you do.
Right.
You should go listen to them, because Chris Lemma's talk is going to be on the internet somewhere where maybe this one isn't. So I always try to advise people, seek out new information. If it's over your head, it won't be over your head in 6 months.
Right. Yeah. So here's the thing, Russ. That's 27th. I'm in a desktop server class, which was the answer to my WordPress prayers. On April 9th, I had merged a .com blog with a CSS website, and I was mobile friendly. Wrote about it, and that's how one of my other friends, Heather Baker Steele, posted that.
I love that girl.
I knew her when she was working for an installation company before she started Blue Steel, and she posted an advanced Facebook. Advanced WordPress. Advanced
WordPress and Facebook.
Right. And so that's how Matt found me, and then he hired me to write for him. So then Jason was like, blah, 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 when I finally met them in person at Orange County. And he said something like, oh, we're looking for somebody to do social media. And I was like, what? I all of a sudden I became the most extroverted, demanding person ever. And my boss, Jason, not this Jason. And I said, if you want a remote worker, you know where to find me. Just like that. I pointed at his face to everything. Like, they gave me Give after that. And I took it from 165 followers to 1,000 in 2 months, which is a personal record. So
wow.
then they hired me in December. So literally that one WordCamp talk changed my life. I went from being an office manager at a contractor to being a marketing manager at a software company working from home, which obviously ended up being a total godsend for me. So
I think we have a new drinking game. I think every time Bridget says contractor, we drink.
But when else are you changing industries and careers at 42 years old, except for WordPress?
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people who used to be stuntmen and now they work at Taco Bell. They're like 45.
That's the wrong kind of change.
But
you don't know that. Maybe they're happier. You don't know the answer to that question.
You also have a really awesome.
Maybe they love asking if they like fries with that. You don't know that.
Would you like nachos?
But you also want to have a really awesome title for your talk, like my how to connect GitHub to Asana was called How to Create a Robot, because it was an actual bot and I was just being Robert, and you know what, I people love the title.
So this guy walks into a WordCamp and you'll never believe what happened next.
Yeah, I haven't. I think someone's done that.
This girl walked into a WordCamp and never believe it.
Well,
yeah, I didn't name mine anything interesting.
I don't either.
It's straight up what it is. It's what is no embed, and why you should use it. Boom. That's it. There's nothing else, but like that's it. Because I want people who are like newbies that are just like, what happens when I type in a URL, and why do they keep showing up? Why is there a thing that keeps showing up? It's this box and it has like this janky looking image. Why does this keep showing up every time I link to this person's website? And so
I always try to solve a problem. So, like when I went to a WordCamp, my problem was like, where do I place my code in my theme or in a plugin? So that's what my talk was called. So the people who are confused by that, they know exactly, here's what we're talking about. Because just like SEO and blog titles, they can be misleading
Exactly.
or yeah.
And if you find it too clever, they might not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I guess I was a little misleading and a little clever, but I was also in the kind of like the designer track, so yeah. Okay, so
what's tough is trying to figure out which one to go to.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at I'm looking over here on our Orange County, our Orange County schedule. I'm looking here and I'm like, okay, so Russ doing a great talk. Chris Ford doing a great talk. I know them both personally. Which one do I pick?
So hard.
And usually when it's the one I know personally, I just go, I won't even go to theirs. I'll go to somebody else's. Unless they're like brand new, just learning how to do public speaking, or they just need the support or whatever, or they're up against a crazy, ridiculous heavy hitter, and you're just like, okay, we need to show our support for this person because there's going to be 4 people in there.
Right.
We need to make this happen.
That happened to me at Orange County last year. Here was me, and then in the room next to me was Jennifer Bourne, and I was like, well, I'll just tweet my talk later. Sign up for this news blast and we'll talk.
Well, I'll tell you the easiest one for me is I'm up against Jen Miller, and I just won't see Jen Miller's talk.
That is a moral dilemma for me.
Right.
Like,
I'll put a camera in there and I'll watch it later.
On this planet are speaking in opposition to each other, and I want to go to both. So I won't let Carol decide. It'll be like Sophie's choice.
But I credit Orange County for that. I mean, those guys are trendsetters in every aspect of the word, and they get that draw. Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Minneapolis, even Salt Lake City is another one where it's like big name after big name. I mean, you could not go to a conference where Gary Vaynerchuk is speaking for less than $40, and here you have anybody who's everybody in WordPress who you read every day speaking, and it's like, wow, I got to see Chris Lemma in South Africa for $40. That was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna sign off here and say thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
So for the attendees, thanks, Robert. So I would just say, bring your computer or a mobile device, but either way, bring
something to use.
A battery. Like I'm actually thinking for Orange County not bringing my laptop this time because it doesn't hold a charge. It has to be plugged in the whole time now.
That's because you left it charged for too long.
No, it's just old. It's 2008.
No, you can get a new battery.
True.
I did get a new battery. This is my second battery.
Oh,
I think
this old girl that's right here I'm using right now, 4th battery.
Yeah, and I do that whole thing where I let it charge and then I unplug it. And then I let it go down to 20.
The sad part about it is Jason Tucker probably has those other 3 batteries sitting around for it's probably like running his solar cells.
Right.
But anyway, so what I'm saying is, whatever you do, either bring an extension cord or bring a charger. You're going to be sad to not have that.
So in Vegas, our spot, they don't like you using pen and paper because they're a tech leader, so they actually have like diamond plated tables. So you actually it's very hard to use the mouse. It's very hard to use pen and paper. They want you to only use some form of technology.
Oh, wow.
But so the thing that Vegas has is that our Wi-Fi is donated. Everybody can stream Netflix, Hulu, and Pandora, and that Wi-Fi will just laugh. Like, it's, like that's one of the problems that people have at WordCamps is they want to work on what they're working on while listening to a talk, but I think it was Sacramento who didn't have Wi-Fi, or their Wi-Fi was very spotty. I mean, even San Diego.
That was
But San Diego didn't have Wi-Fi 2 years ago, and this year they had a makeshift Wi-Fi, which was phenomenal. But it's one of those things where I think what you're trying to say, Bridget, is come prepared, but don't be attached to I'm going to use my computer throughout the whole day.
Well, okay, so
Yeah, you're
I
there to
also
meet
am
people.
not advocating you guys doing work. Okay, so I know some people are doing work because they run businesses, but if you're not paying attention, you're not going to learn anything. And I really feel like, okay, so I was a teacher too, so that was my actual student loan was for being a teacher. If you're not learning, you're doing it wrong. I mean, you should be learning. Even when I was at that booth, working the Give booth with Jason Canill, I learned things because people came and talked to me.
Yeah.
You should be learning things. I talked to you for a long time, Russ, at the after party, and learned that if I ever want to learn core, I know exactly where to start.
No, it's not even just core. It's if you're going to build a plugin, hey, what's the best way to enqueue a script? You go to the developer handbook,
right.
Hey, what's this? Or you start
or whatever.
Well, or you just start with the codex and you go from there.
That's the word I was looking for. A codex. Sorry.
Yep.
You go to the codex. So you go to the source, right? So because you said you don't learn guitar from a 14-year-old on YouTube, you study Clapton.
Let me ask you this: since our talk, how many times have you visited the codex compared to when you first started? It's like probably 2,000%, right?
Well, Sarah Weefall talked about child themes at our meetup after that. And
I love that girl too.
And she said all you have to do is go to make whatever, and then it has the actual code that you use to make the child theme, and you put it in this folder and you copy this thing, and then you make a functions PHP folder, and they give you the exact code, and then all you have to do is make your style CSS thing. And I did it really quick just to see if I could change something, and then I took it off because I couldn't get my desktop server to work for some reason. It might be because I have an old Mac. So I did go to it once.
I sat in this talk in 2011 that John Hawkins gave about how to child theme when child theming was new, and it was so above my head. But I sat there and I listened to it, and when I got to that point in my WordPress career, I was ready to go. I knew what was up. And I mean, I kind of luck out because I have that guy here in town. I mean, John Hawkins will tell you that I write him all the time. Hey, how would you do this? Or how would you do that? But, I mean, if I was in Orange County, I would probably be hitting up Brandon Dove left and right, or Jeffrey Zinn, and being like, hey, what would you guys do? I mean.
Or even David Arsenault, who's really quiet, but he's super smart.
Yeah.
The quiet guys sometimes are. Well, you're like.
Roy Simon's like that too. Roy's very.
You just throw some Doctor Who references in there and you're good to go. That's all you got to do.
Right. So I would just say be prepared. The other thing that I like to give as advice to attendees is go look at who's speaking. Don't just show up and go, I don't know. Like, what are you trying to get out of it? I mean, obviously, my first X amount of years was all about blogging. To a large degree, it still is. Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to be in Jacob's talk about SVGs, but I appreciate him as a person, and I could sit in there to support him. But
Bridget, you can actually go sit in that talk about, because SVGs are amazing, number one. But you could sit in that talk and you could just say, you know what I learned? I learned one new thing, and this could help you. And if you learn one new thing, my goal of speaking at a WordCamp or organizing a WordCamp is not to put on the biggest, baddest show. It's I want you to walk away saying, I learned something, and that's going to spark my interest.
Exactly.
That's all I care about.
Plus, if you need to write things on your blog, like posts or articles or whatever you want to call them, it's attending the class, and if you know that you're going to write recaps, you could easily get, 2 to 7 blog posts out of a WordCamp.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
So,
if you pay attention. So, like, for me, when I tweet, that's like me taking notes. But, we like longer posts at WordPress, so I put all my things in one giant post. But, even at the WordCamp, even at the after party, I learned so much from so many people, And
we're going to have a Slack channel for all the speakers. That way, everybody can just join in. I can say, hey, you're up, or hey, this is what's going on. And then we're going to have a separate Slack channel just for everybody to join. That way, it's not because it's easier. It's because by the time you leave WordCamp Vegas, hopefully you know how to use Slack, and now you have a new resource when you're communicating with teams.
Yeah, we use Slack.
Yeah.
He says enthusiastically.
I love Slack.
What's the tactic for this because we tend to say Slack channel when we really mean like Slack instance or Slack subdomain or Slack something, because there's channels within the actual Slack itself.
Okay. So you have, it's going to be like WP Vegas, or it's going to be slack.wpvegas or wpvegas.slack, whatever it's going to be, okay? And then you can join there, and it will be free, okay?
Right.
You don't have to pay anything. And then there's going to be a channel. So inside of it, you have, think of it like your post types. You're going to have one place where if you are a speaker, you're going to go and sign up for this channel, and anything going on with speakers, you're going to follow what's going on. Yeah. You have another channel with all the attendees that says, hey, the after party's here. Yeah. It's a way to stay communicated. But so inside of Slack, there's separate rooms that are just focused on one event.
Yeah. Because I'm in 12 different Slack teams.
Wow.
I have so many, it's dumb.
I hate it. So I'll be in 13, and then another WordCamp will be 14, and another WordCamp will be 15. And so,
especially when you're part of like the WordPress.com Slack.
Right, like that thing should have just a whole bunch of Slacks already. Slack channels already set up for each one of these different things. Like if you're going to tell people go to a thing, they should go to the root thing and then interact with it. Like if this was IRC back in the day, I would never do this because I'd have to remember all these servers to connect to be able to get onto there to figure out which channel to get onto. It's hard enough to figure out how to get onto IRC to begin with. So now it's like Slack's the same type of thing. So I don't know. It just seems like if WordPress.com, .org, whatever is going to have like a Slack, then they should have all the stuff for WordCamps or have a WordCamp Slack. And then have everything kind of all tied together with WordPress.org.
Oh, I deleted it, but Adam Silver, who wrangled the volunteers last year at Los Angeles, had us all, the volunteers were on some chatting thing, group.me or something.
Yeah, GroupMe,
GroupMe, yes.
I love GroupMe.
So, because we don't want to necessarily give people our phone numbers, but you've got to be mobile if you're a volunteer. And that was really helpful because any of the organizers could say, oh, Bridget, could you tweet out that water's in the back of the rooms?
Yeah.
Well, but that's the idea of Slack, though.
Right.
Is if you're a volunteer, you join the volunteer channel, and it's like, hey, please notify everybody, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Or, you can just do @here and hit everybody gets a notification that says, after party here, and it's taken care of. You don't have to tweet it and hope somebody's following your tweet or whatever. But the end goal is you learned a new technology that most of the major WordCamp or WordPress companies are using on a daily.
They are.
So now if you go and apply a web dev, it's not so weird when they say, oh, come join our Slack and go join the core team or whatever.
So we have Slack and Asana?
Uh-huh.
Because I work in both sides. I work in the agency side, which is Asana, and the WordPress side, which is Slack.
But so those are two different things,
They're
though.
totally different worlds. And I always tease my
idea.
boss who says, "Oh, we don't want all these emails, so we want Asana." I go, "Okay, so instead of one notification, I get two."
My Asanas all go into Slack.
They do?
I have
you need to figure that out. Where's your Dall when you need them?
So I use this Apple application. It's called Alfred.
Yeah, I love Alfred.
So Alfred, I just bought it the other day, and you can actually build workflows. And so I can just write @Slack, @Twitter, and I can share something, and I will send it to Twitter and my Slack channel in one shot, which is really awesome.
That's cool.
I love building that workflow, but I learned that at a WordCamp.
Yeah, so come prepared to learn. Bring your electronicness with access to some kind of power, either battery, solar, or electricity.
I met friends by bringing one of these guys, but I brought the one that has like 4 times as long cord on it. Yeah. I looked like Indiana Jones when I walked into the room. It was awesome. And so the people around me were like, we were in this room, and I think it was down in San Diego or something. And the room, no, it was Orange County. But there was this room that had no electrical on the floors, no electrical anywhere, except for on one wall in the back. And I was like, folks, you're going to be my best friend. And so I just pulled it out, I just set it all up, put it on the ground. I said, okay, everybody tap in. And I ended up getting the squid. If you've ever seen the squid's awesome, because instead of it being a stick, it's just a whole bunch of little ones coming out of it. And so I had that, and then people were walking up and like, can I plug my thing in? And they had this thing that had like 3 prongs and 4 prongs sticking out of it. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, we were literally turning that thing into like the Christmas tree from a Christmas store. It was nuts. They're all over the place, this thing. And so people were just plugging into it and like, yeah, I can finally recharge.
So here in Vegas, all the tables have power built into them.
On the table?
You can, yes.
Nice. I will definitely be applying to speak now.
You're in. Like, you don't need to apply for no. Like,
you and I have to.
How the hell have you not picked this up already? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if you're being nice to me or what.
Bridget, you are officially 100% a part of WordCamp Vegas.
You want to know what my opening line's going to be?
What's that?
My name is Bridget Willard, and I'm an adult child of an alcoholic.
Well, so my opening line is, hi, my name is Alcoholic, and I'm a Russell.
because you don't get the full context of my story if you don't understand dysfunction and doubt.
Nice.
And the WordPress community that saved me from self-destructive behavior.
My other favorite part about WordCamp is when you go to after parties.
It's gonna be good.
When you tweet somebody and you're using like their business hashtag or something, they kind of can't be goofy with you because you kind of have an image to keep. But if anybody went to San Diego, you know that I was the guy on the pool table, like dancing around, jumping around. Like, I wouldn't do that on my Twitter, but I'm definitely, when I'm at a WordCamp, I'm there to have fun. Like. Well,
it's good to have fun, but I'm just saying, like, that selfie we took saved me from people saying I wasn't there. I'm like, I was there. Russ has a selfie.
Russ has a selfie, but it's yours. It's not even mine. It's your selfie.
No, you took it.
I didn't take it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't even drinking.
It would be. I was. So what I'm saying is, it would be in this little device right here. Had I taken it, and it's not.
I know, that's cheating. I can't handle
this, right? Just like that.
Yep. But anyway, so I would definitely. The other thing I recommend to people is you don't have to go to every class, you guys. Orange County.
Take like one off.
I take off one. I'll go to 3 out of 4. And we'll go, if I don't get my dog sitter situation, I will be coming home and taking my dogs out and going back. So,
if you want to bring your dogs to Vegas, bring them.
I'll have it figured out by October, but I don't know if I'll have it figured out by July 10th. But Carol and I always go to get ice cream or something. or we just sit around talking to somebody. That's when they say the hallway track. You don't have to go to every single class, but it's good to think about what you've learned too. Just think about it for a minute. Sometimes you don't think you learned something, and then you realize you did. And that's been happening to me a lot at the meetups. A lot. I'll be sitting there and they're talking about blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I need to know what a custom post type is. Or, oh, that's advanced custom fields and rah-da-da, So it's good to pay attention.
In San Diego, I was sitting in the speaker's room working on some presentation material, and Dave Jesh was in there, and he was talking about WP Site Sync, and I was, I said, what's this? I said, what's this? And he turned his computer and he goes, here, watch this. And I mean, I had the guy who developed this show me how to use it. I mean,
I'm excited about trying that.
I hate saying this, but it's like having Zuckerberg teach you Facebook. I mean,
right.
Well, okay,
what I mean?
So the point of that is the generosity of the WordCamp community.
Right.
You don't really fit in if you think you're too good for other people.
No, the point of that is I just saved $800 because you spent 2 hours with me.
But also, another tip, I'll just, the non-coding tip, wear comfortable shoes. I know you want to look cute, but you're not going to be happy.
I left the heels at home.
Well, so something we do here in Vegas is that most WordCamps you go to, they'll have a single room that's dedicated to development or dedicated to design. And so the problem I recognized was that after lunch, people are just looking at their watch saying, when is this over?
Yeah.
So here in Vegas, we don't designate a room. The developer room will become the designer room, will become the beginner room, will become, I like people to get up and move.
Yep.
Number one, it forces them to do it, which is kind of fun. Being in control is fun.
Oh
but the second part is, our WordCamp energy stayed up, and people got to meet other people because they passed them in the hall.
Yes. Yes. And
so I understand when people want to camp out and say, I'm going to sit in the design room all day and I'm going to get an education in design, but get up, go meet some people, and the education that you think you're missing out is going to pay itself tenfold by meeting Bridget Willard about social media.
Exactly. And you guys have those people come and talk to you about, child themes or whatever, and people come and talk to me about Twitter. So that's what happens. But I will say this, to somebody like me who still considers herself a beginner, those labels can be very intimidating.
I know.
I will tell you, I did not feel like any class was good for me at San Diego, and I was happy to be at the booth because I'm not a developer or a designer.
We don't label anything here in Vegas because out of 280 people, who am I to say this is for beginner and who am I to say this is for developer? Just sit down in the chair and you decide, and if it's not for you, get up and go to the next one. But because I think people do try to plan their day by going, well, I'm going to go to all the beginner ones.
Right.
Well, Matt Cromwell will tell you Devin Walker will tell you himself, I had 2 beginners up, and he went to a beginner talk and said, oh, Give WP should start, or WP Give should start doing this.
Yeah.
And he would have never realized that. He would have never realized that had he not been in a beginner
It was
class.
Cromwell. Because, see,
I think it was Cromwell.
This is the thing, and my friend Priscilla and I were just talking about this on the way to meetup last night. Sometimes you get so
focused.
Well, you're just only talking to your people. If you don't ever talk to new people, then you don't know what their pain point is, right? And I was telling her, I didn't know what documentation was. So I didn't know the word, and if I was going to somebody's website to find help, I would never have looked for that because I don't know what that is.
Most web developers don't either, so that's good.
Oh my God.
So I never had the privilege to meet Say or Chris Lemma, and so when I spoke at WordCamp Reno in 2013, they were both there, and at that point they were still really good friends. And so I just walked up and I was like, hey, I've seen you on the water cooler. Thank you for your time. And they were like, yeah, sit down, let's talk. And that was like the world. That was amazing, you know? And
Yeah.
like, come to find out, Say and I were talking at the same time about the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, I just really, WordCamp's important. And I feel strongly about people attending. And
I think WordCamp gives you a chance to actually experience the community, because Ben Fox was talking about in his keynote in Vegas about how digital is just an enabler. You know, like, even though we're on this thing right now, meeting in person, I think, was better than doing 20 of these shows. You know, because Bridget actually got to feel my energy and see like how really passionate I am.
Yeah.
And I don't think that message always comes across when you're in a Facebook group or a Slack channel or you tweet it.
plus, humor doesn't always translate either. And I mean, the video helps, you know, and hearing somebody's voice helps. But of course, it's reinforcing. And then you can, you know, whether it's the Slack channel or Twitter or Facebook or what, you can keep those relationships going, you know. And for me, it's been revolutionary. It literally has. And then, you know, of course, a couple of weeks ago when my husband passed away, the community was there for me again. So,
Yep.
and people were saying things to me that I was talking to Priscilla last night because she drove me, and I was just saying, people were saying stuff to me. I didn't even know they were even knew I existed. They were saying like how much I affected them, and like I'm just sitting on my computer tweeting because my whole life is isolated. And before, especially before, I was Rapunzel, and Twitter was my hair because I was so isolated. My boss kept me from people. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So the fact that people are saying that I was so generous to them and I affected them and they couldn't believe how nice I was to them. I'm like, I didn't, like, it couldn't make, like, it's taken me all these weeks after that just to make that connect in my brain. Like, I didn't even know you guys even knew I existed. It's just so weird. Like, you know, and so the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you don't know how you're affecting people. You don't. So just be a polite, normal human being. Be generous. Be courteous. Have fun.
I failed.
No. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just be a normal human being. Reach out to people. Say hi. It worked. I mean, even if you're shy, like I was, just tweeting up somebody else's talk, they came up to me. And now, you know, I'm friends with those people. Because, you know, you can keep those relationships going. So there's just so many opportunities to learn and grow. And there's just no reason for people to be isolated. There's just no reason to be isolated. It's really important to be connected. You have to have people that not only that you can work with and you could collaborate with, especially because so many people in our community are remote or freelancers. It's very easy to be isolated, but you have to have people that you can put in your bucket, somebody you can share your soul with. And I feel like the people on WordPress are very generous that way.
I met this kid one time, and he was like, I have Chris Lemma's personal email. And like, you know, and I said, yeah, but I have his Twitter. And I guarantee you that as long as I say something that he believes in, he's going to tweet it out. And I'm going to have like 100 new followers. And you just have one response, you know? So I always tell people like, if you jump on the Twitter and you say something, you know, that's first of all true, but could help somebody else, I'm going to share it. You know, I mean, I work for another company who we build plugins and we build websites, but I share the link to the Give jobs. I share links to the Web Savvy jobs. To the Zeek Interactive jobs, because I work in here, I work in the community, and I want other people to as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And on that note, I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at a press conference. Bridget, you are speaking in Vegas. Wrap your head around that.
I'm having a hard time.
I will tweet you every day if need be, but
Yes.
But just know that you are coming to speak in Vegas.
I will be there.
All right.
I promise.
Awesome.
Tucker, as always, thank you.
Well, it's 9 o'clock.
No problem, man.
So let's wrap this bad boy up. Thanks,
Yeah.
Russ.
Well, Bridget, I did want to leave kind of one extra little piece in this, and that is that a lot of these WordCamps couldn't be done without the volunteers.
Oh, totally.
And if it came down to it, a lot, all these people are volunteers. So the person who's running it, the organizer, is a volunteer.
Yes.
All the people that work there, they've been working months to try to get this thing figured out. All volunteers.
Yep.
They're just as important as the person who's folding all the t-shirts.
Yep.
The person who's handing out all of the stickers. The person that's going through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the different alphabetical letters to figure out who are you and where can I get your stuff.
Yes.
The person who's sitting in the back of the room hitting the record button on the camera, so hopefully the stuff makes it up onto WordPress TV. The person who's editing it and taking care of all that stuff, that person. The person that's sitting in the front of the room who's introducing and hopefully, trying to pronounce your name correctly
5
to the
minutes.
whole room.
Wrap
Those
it up.
people, those are all the people that are making this thing happen. And all the people that stick around after and ask who, this is totally, this isn't even volunteering. At this point, it's volunteering after the fact. Hey, is there anything else I could do for you to help clean up? I'm not going home for another day. I help you guys clean up. Those are the people that are really, really helping out with this particular community and this event, whatever event it may be. So if you are looking around and you're seeing that a bunch of things aren't being done and you want to help them get done, make sure you start asking people and saying, who's the organizer? Who's the person that's doing the volunteer organization folks? Get that person in there and say, hey, what can I do to help?
Oh, and the sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors. No. Sponsors, totally. The sponsors
That's
are
like
huge.
$40.
Yeah, the sponsors are huge. And so towards the beginning of for the folks that don't know this, towards the beginning of the sales of all of the tickets, they usually open up the sponsors and they say, okay, look, we're looking for sponsors. If you're interested in sponsoring, we'd love for you to sponsor. Oh, and by the way, because you sponsored, depending on the level that you go in, we'll give you a ticket. We'll give you 2 tickets, whatever it is. And they're all different. Maybe,
Right.
I don't know. I've never done this before myself. But you sponsor the event and you're sponsoring that local event. If you want to, you can also sponsor for the entire world, all of the different events that are happening. So they'll mention you, in passing or whatever during the opening and closing and all that fun stuff. So definitely look at the sponsorships. Yeah, sponsorships are huge, and it's really great for people to get involved and be able to get the word out and stuff.
Yeah. Pittsburgh is having their first WordCamp this year too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, and Devin's applied to speak, so.
Nice.
So Pappy, I thought maybe he was saying he's a sponsor regular for PGH. I was wondering if that was Pittsburgh.
Oh, cool.
Congratulations. Good job.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, those are the people that really make this stuff happen. You need to have all of those folks, the people that are figuring out who the sponsors are, the people who are doing the volunteer wrangling, all those people.
How do you get to be an organizer? Adam's asking.
If there isn't one in your area, like a WordCamp in your area, if you go over to WordCamp Central and go onto their website and say, hey, in my area, and however far away there isn't a WordCamp, I have enough people here that are interested in doing this. I want to do a WordCamp. That's what John Brown did over in Maui. Maui was like, I have enough people to do a WordCamp. Let's make this happen. And they were like, okay. And he actually had to build up his community so he could have a WordCamp there. So that way he'd be able to really make it happen. And so we did that. People got super excited because they're like, yes, that means I can finally go to this WordCamp and essentially have my business pay for it to get me out to this WordCamp. How cool is that? So yeah, so those are the things that if you're looking for, setting up a WordCamp in your area, go over to WordCamp Central, start asking around in there. I can't remember the name of the channel on Slack, but there's a channel on Slack that's devoted to just doing event type stuff. If you go in there and say, hey, I want to do a WordCamp, I'm crazy, I have nothing else better to do with my life for the next like 4 or 5 months. I want to make this happen. You ask them, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
They'll get you set up with a person who will kind of interview you and figure out how this will work out for you. And then they'll also kind of be like a mentor to make sure that things are going well for you for your camp, and that you kind of get it figured out, because the first one is the hardest one.
Yeah.
And I volunteered at my local WordCamp last year, WordCamp Orange County. I volunteered there and helped out with video stuff and getting those recorded and all that stuff. And then the year before that, I did the video stuff as well. So if you're somebody who's interested in something that no one else wants to do, be that guy that does it, be that girl that does it, and get out there and say, hey, I know how to hit the record button and actually, get it recorded every time, or I know how to do whatever it is. I know how to tweet. None of these programmers know how to tweet. I'll be the Twitter person.
And the social media is usually like the 3 to 5 month commitment. So
yeah,
it's a big job.
Make the robots do all the work.
Well, I do a hybrid.
Yeah. Folks, that's about it for today. Thank you for coming over to WPblab and checking out the show and learning more about WordCamps. We really appreciate it. We do shows both on Mondays as well as on Thursdays. Mondays is at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific. And also this particular show happens at 7:30 Pacific on Thursdays. So make sure you go over to those and click on those and check them all out. Go to our website at WPwatercooler.com and click on the links there to subscribe, to like us, to follow us, all that. If you're watching us on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Go down below, leave us a comment, just say hi. That's all you have to really put. Or hit the thumbs up button or hit subscribe. Thank you, folks. You have a good rest of your day.
Thanks.
Bye.